This time of year is always so freaking exciting with like digging up the dirt in the garden and walking outside on the trails and seeing all of my favorite plant friends popping up everywhere. I can't help but be outrageously excited. And sometimes, like, my brain just gets spinning with all the different medicines that I want to make, and I'm so excited about it. But the reality is, it can become a lot of work, or you end up making a bunch of medicine that you don't really ever use and it sits there on the shelf for like years. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Have you ever been there? Either way, if you have or have not, I am going to be hosting an herbal medicine planning party. And this is where we're going to basically map out the remedies you actually need for the next 1 to 2 years so that you can know what you're making and have it ready to rock and roll right when you need it. So it's a fun 4 day long party. It's totally free. We're going to have a good time. You're going to learn some really cool stuff. And I would love it if you come hang out with me at the Herbal Medicine Planning Party. Of course, I will put a link down below in the show notes for you, and I hope to see you there. Happy medicine making season! Welcome to the Herbalist Path, a podcast that's all about helping herbalism spread like wildflowers. I'm Mel, a clinical herbalist, environmental educator, and a mama who's been walking this path for well over 20 years. I created this show to help you feel confident with herbal medicine. You're going to get a blend of how-to episodes, incredible guest experts sharing their wisdom, and real talk about using herbs every day. All to help you care for your family naturally, take better care of our precious planet, and maybe even become the trusted herbalist in your own community. You see, this work isn't just about the herbs. It's about healing ourselves. It's about caring for each other, and it's about living in deeper connection with the earth. So whether you're blending your first tea, making your first tincture, or feeling called to be the go-to herbalist in your community, welcome. You belong here. You are right on time, and you are on the herbalist path. Hello, and welcome back to another episode on the Herbalist Path. I am so grateful that you are here and you are tuning into this episode, and you are as into learning about herbs as I am to talking about them. So this episode today is going to be a bit, yes, learning about herbs and a bit of storytelling as well, because last night I just had one of those like real life examples that was so perfect for everything that I'm kind of stepping into right now. We're about to open up a live round of Medicine Making Mamas, which is my program where you learn all about making really great medicine and making sure that it's effective and all of that good stuff. So it's really an important lesson that happened last night, and especially as I head into my herbal medicine planning party, which I'll talk about a bit later. But anyways, so here's what happened last night. I was at my daughter's softball game, and if you've never heard or didn't know, I love the game of softball. I played when I was my daughter's age, and I still play today, but now it's slow pitch. And it's just so much darn fun. And one of my favorite things is to cheer a lot. And like all the team cheers are so much fun for me. And I'm usually hanging out by the dugout if I'm not coaching, and I'm teaching the girls the cheers that I used to do way back when I was an 11 or 12-year-old girl. And it's so much fun. And so I was like teaching one of these girls one of the cheers. And at that moment, somebody was like, "Oh, Anira's down, Anira's down." And it turns out that my daughter went to steal second, and when she got there, her ankle just like collapsed off the bag, and she got a pretty healthy sprain, honestly. And I didn't really worry at all. Like some moms would just freak out and be like, "Oh my God, my kid's hurt." And, you know, I knew that the coaching staff was more than adequate. One of them's a nurse, and so I just let them handle it. in the beginning parts. And then once they got her into the dugout and she was chilling, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go comfort her emotionally because I know that's scary for her. And so I was definitely there. And I also remembered that I had some Arnica in my van in the little console, and I had some of my Bobcat Balm from way back in the days when I ran Mountain Mel's. And who in the heck knows how old those oils are? Actually, I know they were probably made in the beginning of 2022 or possibly even as long ago as 2021. So definitely not prime time medicine right there, like definitely past their prime. But I still use them in the moment because I know how potent the oils are and how good I make those oils. Like they're definitely far beyond anything I've ever bought in a store. So I slathered her up with some Arnica and some of the old Bobcat Balm to help the healing process. And before I go on to like more teaching, I want to say how cool it was because I showed up at this game and it was about an hour away from where we live. And it was in the city in Portland, Oregon. And I showed up to the bleachers and there's a mom there from the other team. And she's like looking at me and she's like, hey. And I'm like, gosh, is that one of the moms on our team? Or, you know, but I'm like, hey, I kind of know you, but I don't. And she's like, I know you, don't I? And I'm like, I don't know. She was like, no, actually, I saw you at the OHSU market many, many years ago before I did a 42-mile backpacking trip. And you're Mountain Mel. And I bought all of your first aid goods at that market and had the best backpacking trip. And you and I had this great conversation about it. And she's like, and I follow you. I was like, oh my God, how weird. Such a funny moment. And honestly, it happens a lot that I get that when I'm out and about, that the old, hey, you're Mountain Mel. And it was such a part of my identity, I guess, having a business with my name in it. So anyways, it was really funny to run into her and she was great. We chatted about softball and our daughters and life and all that cool stuff, but just ironic that like she had already bought all my first aid goods that were probably made, well, if I was at that market, it was quite a few years ago. But anyways, that was just one of those fun moments and kind of a proud moment in that time. So anyways, yes, I had some Arnica oil on hand for Anira. And if you don't know, Arnica is absolutely amazing for sprains and strains and bruising and things like that. And you can get like a nice gel or cream from Boron, the homeopathic company, or their pellets are really, really good too. I've always found my oil to be better than their homeopathic gels. The oil I make with fresh Arnica is absolutely phenomenal. And I had my Bobcat Balm, which I made specifically for people that get sprains and strains. And it's got Arnica, it's got Comfrey in it, which I'll talk about again in just a moment. And I use Cayenne in there as well. And Cayenne is really amazing in this particular case because it brings heat to the area. And we know, like, if there's a sprain, we want to do the rest, ice, compress, and elevate for sure. But we also want a little heat there and a couple of other actions that the Cayenne comes in to help with is it's going to promote blood flow to the area, which is going to speed the healing process. And it opens up the capillaries in that very, very specific spot. So the things like the Arnica and the Comfrey, and I use St. John's wort and mullein as well in there, it helps those medicinal goodness. That's a total technical term. Those medicinal herbs get exactly right where they need to be. So again, the cayenne comes in, it's bringing all this heat, it's bringing all this blood flow, and it opens up those capillaries so that the good medicine from the arnica, from the comfrey, can get right to where it needs to take action and speed that healing and repair process. And it's absolutely phenomenal. And then in that Bobcat Balm, I also use things like menthol crystals and peppermint and a little bit of camphor too. And that brings on the cooling. So this is a product I used to make when I ran my herbal products company, and I sold it at REI and all kinds of really, really cool natural health food stores and chiropractors' offices. Actually, our local chiropractor just bought a whole case of it, of our old batch. And I was like, it's past its prime. And they're like, that's okay. We love it. It's the best. So anyways, to the name Bobcat Balm, I made it because I wanted it to be like a tiger balm. But I live on Mount Hood in Oregon. And I definitely, when I named it, the property that we lived on, bobcats would frequently come and steal our chickens from our space. So I thought that it would be a funny play on words. I don't know that many people ever got it. I had to tell them like the story like I just did with you, but still, Bobcat Balm is the jam, and it is all natural, and it is all made with plants that grow around where I live and can also be easily grown in my garden. I guess the cayenne doesn't grow natively, but you can certainly grow it or gather it from a sustainable supplier, of course. So yeah, that's the name of Bobcat Balm. Those are some of the things that I think are really important in cases of an injury like this, of sprains and strains and broken bones and things like that. So my whole point in sharing this story is like, yes, the arnica was way past its prime. And I am so grateful because I have comfrey growing in my garden. And I have like this one plant that I brought to my garden a couple years back. And comfrey is kind of known to spread a lot. But I've had it there for about 4 years now, and it is not spreading anywhere. So like literally the week before today, I had a woman post on our local Buy Nothing group that she had so many comfrey plants that she needed to get rid of them. She was like, where are my hippie people that need the comfrey? And I'm like, it's me. Hi, it's me. I'm the hippie freak that will use your comfrey. And so we went to her property just a few miles down the road from me, and I dug out like 4 new comfrey plants for my house because mine had already gone to flower and these ones were not in flower at all yet. And I planted them last week. Also, because I knew that this year is going to be a big medicine making year for me, because honestly, I haven't made much medicine for a couple of years. So I ran Mountain Bells all the way from like 2011 to 2022. Maybe it was even longer than that. Officially called Mountain Bells in 2011. I definitely made products before then. But I closed it in 2022 to focus on teaching and to focus on my child and things along those lines. And when I closed the apothecary and moved everything out of that space and shut down the product line, and I was just like, then in my basement, I had so much freaking medicine that I could I'm like, please take this medicine. Please take it. Please take it. It was pretty much giving away all of these different things. And I didn't need anything. But now here I am, all those oils past their prime, and it is time for me to make so much good stuff. And one of the things I love to do is host an herbal medicine planning party, because if you've ever made herbal remedies, maybe you first got into it and 5 years later, you're looking at all these random jars on your shelf and you're like, what in the heck is this? I don't even know what I made. I don't even know why I made it or how in the heck I am going to use it. Hey, it definitely happens. If you've ever been there, I am there, or I have been there. I don't really do it so much now because I usually have an outlet or an understanding of what I need to make. So I think it's really important though, because it's easy to get so excited about all the medicine that is out there and all these beautiful plants and knowing that they are medicinal or edible and that you can utilize them. And it's easy to be like, cool, I'm going to go get all my jars and I'm going to fill them with oils and I'm going to fill them with various alcohols and I'm going to make these tinctures and I'm going to make these glycerites and all of these great things, right? It's really important. But then again, if you just go gathering them all willy-nilly with no intention behind them and no thought process and like, what am I going to actually use this for? That's when you end up with those jars that are just collecting dust and you don't see them again for another 5 or 10 years. And you're wasting time and you're wasting money and you're wasting sometimes the precious plants. There could be a much better use for it. So anyways, I guess that's my long rant and my long way of inviting you to the Herbal Medicine Planning Party, because that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to talk about like, what do you actually need on hand and why? And are there things that are actually really plentiful all around you that could make great medicine and serve the purposes that you need? Because if so, those are the ones you really, really want to focus on instead of all the exotic, crazy, wild herbs out there. Why not keep it simple? Why not keep it local or bioregional as possible? That's a great way to go. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do. It's a 4-day party. It is a free party, and we are going to map it out. I am going to help you not feel so overwhelmed trying to figure out what to make, when you can find the time to make all of the things. And yeah, I'm just going to help you get a really well-stocked herbal medicine cabinet and one that you can utilize fully for the next 1 to 2 years without having tons and tons of random jars of what the heck am I ever going to do with this? So yeah. That's it. It's a party. It's fun and it's free. And I hope that you come because I love this time of year as all the spring plants are popping up and it's almost summertime and it's like just abundance everywhere. It is so much fun. And I want to help inspire you on your medicine making journey. So I will definitely drop a link to the Herbal Medicine Planning Party down in the show notes of this episode here. And I really hope that you decide to join us in all of the fun. All right. I think that's it for today's episode, though I would love to know, like, if you are tuning into this, like, what kinds of remedies do you always have on hand? Do you have one remedy or 2 remedies that you're like, nope, I never leave home without this. This is the one, the go-to. If you do, I would love, love, love to hear from you on Instagram. You can shoot me a DM. You can do it on Facebook. You could do it on TikTok. You could do it in my emails. I would love to hear what your absolute go-to remedy is to have on hand at all times. All right. That's it. I hope that you also walk away from this episode with some insight on herbs that you can turn to when sprains and strains happen. Comfrey, Arnica, Cayenne. You could even use peppermint or ginger. There's so much that you can do. And yeah, I can't wait to hear from you and wish you an absolutely beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of The Herbalist Path. If you're loving this journey and learning all about the various aspects of herbal medicine, be sure to follow and review the show. It helps more people find their own path with herbal medicine. And if you have a friend or know a mama or another budding herbalist who could use this kind of support, please share this episode with them. And that way, we can keep making herbalism spread like wildflowers. And a gentle reminder, nothing shared on this podcast is intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. All the information is for educational purposes only. And yeah, we throw in some entertainment too. But what it is not is a substitute for personalized care from a qualified health practitioner. Always do your own research. Listen to your body. And when needed, partner with a trusted professional who honors both your intuition and your health. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and keep walking down the herbalist path.